Yo, what's up YouTube? I'm Max, and this is my affirmation video from the book I've been writing through the Napoleon Hill Foundation called Think and Grow Rich. And this is actually my affirmation video times two, so like I wrote it and then I'm gonna affirm it here on the camera. So basically I'm just reading so I can listen to my own voice too. But anyways, this is chapter 19. And this is Rolodex Wisdom. You can see all my other videos, it's the same theme and it just plays along. And yeah, we're just gonna kind of continue on and get this done. Okay. I don't know why I'm laughing. Excuse me. All right, so nothing will happen in your life that you don't inspire by your own initiative, creative imagination, creative vision is the power which inspires development of personal initiative. And Napoleon Hill said that from Think and Grow Rich. And I have those videos down there too. All right, so this is Rolodex Wisdom. And I'm just gonna read it, so just keep up. Flipping on the television as he poured his morning coffee, Greg smiled as the forecast of another perfect weekend. Being a weather forecast in Southern California must have been the easiest job on television. Another beautiful day in America's finest city. 73 degrees, no rain, no clouds, but it may be cool tonight. The anchor then joked, "You may actually wear socks." Stepping. See, this is like an affirmation video, so like, I'm just reading a story, but you know, it's just like real emotions, real, like, it's just one time, you know, I'm not going to cut this video. It's just one time. And just one time, and that's it. All right, so stepping out of the door, Greg almost forgot his notepad and ran back into his retrieve. And see, if I repeat it in my head, that just means I just repeated it. Okay, that just means it's in my head. All right. No, I don't know. Stepping out the door, Greg almost forgot his notepad and ran back to retrieve it in the minds of which it was him in an American Express commercial. Don't leave home without it. He wondered what David was doing until his gorgeous day, and when he was understanding it was a gift from God. If David was able to stay sober today and continue on the road to recovery, his devastating relapse, it would have been a good day, just as it would have been a good day for Greg if he would have learned a new thing or two in which he was stepping forward into the journey of wisdom, in which his success was to ride to the airport, a ritual to which was becoming a well accustomed. Greg thumbed through the pages of the notebook as he had done many times before. This time, however, he saw the same thing as a completely different angle. As he read through the nuggets of inspiration, he noticed a trend. Every person he had met shared a common foundations of Napoleon Hill. No matter where they connected, there or what, the quality of the wisdom was always the same. It was always the same. Excited about the discovery, you could hardly tell. As he arrived here in Virginia, the two of them had been invited in Napoleon Hill headquarters by Don Green to check on the book's progress. And although it was a pleasure to meet the persons, Greg also had the feeling of being called into the principal's office. Only this time he was far from in trouble, and in fact this time, he said, he has entered the room, has been brainstorming a meeting. I have to show you something. Sharon had already arrived, and he was reviewing some of Napoleon Hill articles when Greg walked in. She looked up with a smile. As he took a seat, he did stand there, and with the table, it was shown on the Discovery Channel, and he had seen it, and they were like, check this out, and I noticed a trend, as great American success stories all have in common. I know what this is, Green said. It's a matter to inspire you. It's a matter to impress you. It's a matter of what pushes all great people to great heights. It's exactly what Hill used to say. They found their major definite purpose. That's it. Sharon chimed, stabbing her pen in the air. Every person you have spoken to, written about, had the burning desire not to quit because they were on a mission that was far bigger than themselves. It was never about them, it was about their why. Their why, Green asked. Sharon continued, yes, we've heard it 1,000 times. It's not about the how, it's all about the why. If you have a big enough reason to do something, the how will simply show itself into you. And as you smile and sit back into your chair and understand exactly what has just happened onto your YouTube channels, all these stories have one thing in common. It goes far deeper than what just mentioned before, deeper than just America. Green added, fact is that it is similar and familiar, and it has been found worldwide, and has been finding itself worldwide. You're noticing, look at Greg's faces as you don't believe it, do you? You don't believe me, do you? You have to see it to believe it, huh? Why don't you just believe it? Just believe it. And see, this is my affirmations video, so I can just make it however I want to. Because I just want to hear my own voice. I just want to hear my own self-talk about what I want. What do you want? Greg's battered. For a moment, you enjoyed seeing how Greg handled himself in a slippery situation, Wi-Fi's funeral. And then she said, well, do we need to add international books as well? All of these books. What do you think I think about? The global economy is in turmoil. Look at the global economy. Look at what's going on. And people all over the world want to learn how to become successful in this tough environment. We need to be able to speak to everyone striving for success, as it has been planned here. Don Green reached into his desk, pulled out an old-fashioned Rolodex, a big round kind in which one added, which was names and phones, and rolled into the contacts of information and the cards, in which was a device, and it took turn pulling out, laying them on the wheels. I kept my international connection. Some of this I just kind of make up too. I just be talking, man. I'm not much of a gambler. Would bet that and call each of these random people that pulled out. We could see that this trend is here on a mission that's bigger than themselves, no matter where they are from. Amused and intrigued, the two guests had to admire their confidence, Greg said, but their hands were down, outdialed, outdated, since they were on their new Rolodex. And for gosh sakes, I haven't seen one of those in years. Don't you have any more current ones standing in your computer? Maybe you need more up-to-date success principles. Green looked his California visitor in the eyes and said, yes, you can imagine that Napoleon Hill Foundation gets queries from all around the world, with more than 200,000 people visiting our website each day. Say, yes, I do use a computer. Yes, I do use a computer. I just happen to like my 3x5 cards in a Rolodex. Greg sat quietly as a mentor made his note. We get requests from people wanting an autographed picture of Napoleon Hill, and we get letters addressed to him personally, through which he had died at 87 in 1970. One day I received a call from a man who said he had started reading Think and Grow Rich. Think and Grow Rich. This chair right here is worth millions of dollars. One day I received a call from a man who had started reading Think and Grow Rich, but after discovery was made and the book was written. A wanderer, whether he might have been wasting his time or just on outdated material, I asked the caller, do you understand the law of gravity? He replied, what do you mean? I told him what a man had stepped off the ledge of a tall building, he would hit the ground and have been killed or seriously injured. I did not matter whether that event had happened 100 years ago or today. Some of these things don't change, and the principle of success haven't changed. Time is irrelevant when discussing the secret of success, which is not a secret at all. The popular book, The Secret, is a contemporary book on the law of attraction, which Napoleon Hill originally wrote in 1919. Oh, I have The Secret too on here. It's a treasure house, so it doesn't even matter. The success principles do not change, but are often written in different formats to attract new readers. Okay, I'll bite. Sharon offered dinner is on me if you get the same why response, Deal Green said with confidence as he already knew the outcome. She picked up the card closest to her and read the name. Tell you what is this? Tell you Besher Rich. This is a gem. Don Green replied, I am a man. Be the first person in history to have founded a university from a fax machine. Greg and Sharon looked at each other, baffled. Green continued a few years ago from his office in Johannesburg, South Africa, without any courses or staff. He began posting notices and faxing out letters of invitations to people who had a desire to better themselves. He wanted to offer these young peoples in this country the opportunity to become more than just outcasts by a society that labeled them as. The only thing is that I see here is this, was that there was no college for them to attend. With over 3,500 applications to a school that did not exist, Dr. Besher had a handful of colleagues who were to borrow a building to house in universities. From there, the magic happened, and the idea exploded. The idea exploded into what has become the premier college in South Africa for underprivileged students. The authors smiled at each other, knowing that they would have a great story to share and they would get him in line. Green called the number and cheerful voice answered, "Hey, what are we doing?" asked in a southern drawl. "Well, hello. I may serve you. How may I serve you? A couple of friends who were with her like to ask something. Go ahead." Bleacher replied. Sharon leaned toward the speakerphone and said, "Hello, Mr. Bleacher. And with me here is Greg, and we understand that you started a university to help those that could normally not afford to attend. What inspired you to do this, and more importantly, what were the challenges in doing so?" A lot of writing. It's a lot easier said than done. "I suppose the big dreamers begin with the idea long before they get others to believe in it as well. We have absolutely nothing to start with, but what we wanted to prove, where we were determined to prove, was that these kids had just been thrown away by society, were just as creative as anybody else." Trying to kick me out. Actually, ego is throwing me away, right? My trash can to you. We're just as creative as anybody else. The Southern African educator went on. At the time, most everyone suggested that children were capable of becoming only menial workers, such as farmers or workers that had to say no. "We are going to prove that these kids came from mud shacks, and from all the streets that you could become counselors, you can become whatever you want, whatever you decide in your life, you can become exactly that. It just takes time. You have to plant your seeds and just let it grow." Accountants, stockbrokers, or whatever else they would decide to do, and the message here is very clear. That today, when you keep going, when everyone says that you're crazy, with a light chuckle and a straightforward response, by maintaining the mindset you have to maintain that mindset. Life is just a mindset. You just have to it's a mindset. What are you thinking about? Well, I can tell you what I'm thinking about. 3 feet from gold. But anyways, we're going to continue on by maintaining the mindset that you know, I don't even care. It's my affirmation video. I don't even care. Even if it's just a feeling. With every cell of your body, you just know that this thing is real. And more importantly, it's larger than just yourself. You're doing something that will help generations to follow once you accept the fact that setbacks and challenges will not matter as much. So it sounds like you had a big enough why, offered Greg. "Yes, you could say that for sure," replied the voice from abroad. "This world would be a much greater place if people redirected their attention from me to we. Don't you think?" "Agreed," said Greg. "We truly appreciate you taking the time to speak with us, as well as usually your great works as you are doing. You have been giving me, and I mean Sharon and I, a lot to think about, and I thank you. You know who you are." As they signed off, Don and Sharon also thanked the man. Sharon looked at Green and said, "Only impressed. That's one heck of a Rolodex file you have there." "Well, thank you very much. It takes a long time to do this." "What a lovely Rolodex you have there." Don laughed as he said, "You better believe it. Napoleon Hill's teachings have a huge impact on people all over the world. These teachings will have a huge impact of people all over the world. These teachings will have a huge impact of people all over the world. These teachings will have a huge impact of people all over the world. In fact, I just spoke in the morning with an incorporation of a distribution partner from Japan. These success demands on the 3 C's: congruency, be authentic in your words and actions. In other words, say as you do and do as you say. Others are watching, and even more importantly, this is what makes up your character. Clarity. You have a clear vision, a very clear vision, a very clear vision, a very clear vision. It's plastic. A very clear vision for demonstration purposes. In case you're asking. But let's have you hear it from someone else directly. Let's call the next person and see what's there to share. And what do you have here, Greg? we have here, Greg, we have here, as I've seen all over the media, is a female entrepreneur of the year of 3 years in a row. Let's call her. Let's call her. Don, I would love to meet her. I would love to meet her. I think I'm going to meet you. If only on the telephone. I think it's going to be by the telephone. Turning to her co-author, she kidded him, saying, "There you go, Greg, another successful woman in interview business with a fire character. And let me tell you, as we dialed the number and she answered, one of the credentials, including that of honored entrepreneur from Virginia in 2001, that was presented with the prestigious I say a lot of words, so, I think it's acceptable. Management Achievement Award in 2003. The American Institute managed a management woman 2000. See what I mean? I say so much. It's unbelievable. The American Institute of the Women of the Year, and she was given a Lifetime Achievement Award. She was also named the #1 female entrepreneur by Profit of these lovely magazines in nationwide searches for consecutive works and consecutive years. She has the idea. Let's see. I think I have another contact for her. Flipping over the card, I found her private cell phone number and called it. There was an immediate response. "Hi, what's going on, love?" In the warmest tone, "I have a couple of people here with me. I wanted to ask a quick question. You got a minute?" "Of course, darling." As she spoke on the microphone beside me, we were looking onto the book, and I wanted to ask you if it's okay to shoot. I actually know a bit about you already, and you probably have read my story in the paper, but as you know, I've passed and took over all of these packing plants, which was one step from, which has always been around. And true, I write about it in the press, and it's been written about in the press, but we're going to get through that, and we're going to make it happen in another way. And as a sigh of relief, without allowing the moment of silence to get in the way, we allow these things to do as we ever had done when we were kids. Because the truth is, I don't know, but there was a widowed mother of 3 with no income and the majority of the shareholders of this failing plant, and I decided to focus all my attention to turn the business around. Greg continued his questioning. "But do people think you're crazy?" And with a laugh, she responded, "No, absolutely not. They were absolutely certain I was crazy. They looked at me like I was a crazy person. I'm not crazy. I just repeat a lot of affirmations. They were convinced I would fail based on my lack of experience. The group in my office smiled at the comment, "What do you do?" And one thing that I had to do, and that I was a perfect consumer, in which I understood that we needed to move on and we needed to salt, and it was just a health condition which was now fixed and now cleared, and we're in this new demographic that created a healthier gourmet line that everyone could enjoy, and with such inspiration, see, that's when you know it comes from the inside. And with such inspiration, I think I said that again. I said the same thing. If you are in, we are out. Ouch, that must hurt. Green sympathized. Not really, Don. It became my driving force. Is that crazy? I believed in what I was doing, and I knew what I was doing was right for all the right reasons, and I believed that we had a product that could be of service to the entire world. Greg said, "That's powerful. As wild as it may seem, like you have said before, we turned into that, and which was in no time. We instituted some of the great programs for our employees, and we created magic. Our customers piled in, and we started selling our products around the globe. It was a great success. Sales doubled and then tripled, and then things really got exciting." "That's fantastic," Sharon remarked, "and we took on the company about $500 million in revenue, and I sold it." "Did you say billion with a B?" It was asked. It's pretty crazy, huh? You know, you heard right. 500 million. Man, my voice. Something about my voice right now. It's just all this talking that's just like, it changes you. This just had to make change. Yeah, 500 million. Not bad for a blonde-haired socialite, socialites, as some people call me. Yet, I guess that's not as bad as what many other people have called me. All three laughed aloud at this statement. Man, you gotta really watch where you step out there. Seeing that the conversation could go on for hours, don't cut off the call too shortly. Your insights while suggesting that share the information into the visitors that might continue on the dialogue later. We'll have an assistant and which will email you. Thanks, Don. She replied, please call on me if I can serve you any further. Hanging up the receiver that was turned on, and there was no question dinner was on me. A smiling green, although already ahead of you, the reservations before the night was over was an hour or so, and since we have been out there, I'm going to show you a bit of me. You are free to look at anything you wish. And as I found myself here alone in this room, I sat lost in my thoughts on these previous visits, which had been focused on creating some of the most beautiful relationships on Foundation, and we have now been becoming part of the family. And as I sit here and try to understand this incredible feeling that I have within me, a sense of security which I have never been felt before, and yet I can't shake this feeling. The business was sold and we were doing okay, and everything has appreciated a couple grand a month of cash flow from the sales. But they were spending way too much on their expenses and debt was piling up, and as he surrounded himself with all of his prosperity, yet he was reliving this moment of doom. So, as we went about this dinner in which the credit card was held and it was afraid to be accepted, things were also very tight, in which you probably end up filing for bankruptcy. And as he sighs, that feeling of depressed feeling inside the voice, which is giving him everything in which he projected into the universe, and now he has nothing to show for it. I am no better than off than what he was a year ago, and what I would like to think of as so much a prestigious project is, who am I to have this incredible, successful person, and maybe I should stop kidding myself and go get a real job. But before I do that, I'm going to be completely understood and completed and not distracted by poking around in the office, pulling books from the shelves, placing them back in the attention of the fixated places of these wonderful works before myself. Noticing that the cabinet was right there with me. As I make up most of these pages as I talk, I could just continue the story from wherever I thought. He noticed the home file cabinet only a few feet away from where he had been sitting, and you can look at anything. And as he rationalized, as he opened up the wow, he gasped and saw what he lay inside, row after row of Napoleon Hill's personal handwritten notes and articles. Energy doesn't die. Many looked at it as if they hadn't been read since they were first opened or filed away on the top. Excuse me. Greg found a scroll and labeled it Adversity and Defeat. It read, Adversity and Defeat. Every adversity you meet carries with it a seed of equivalent or greater benefit. Realize this statement and believe it. Close the door of your mind to all failures or circumstances of your past, and so your mind can operate in a positive mental attitude. Every problem is a solution, and once you have it, you can find it. If you develop I don't believe in defeat attitude, you will learn that there is no such thing as defeat, and you will not accept it as such, and no problems or any temporary setbacks are only stepping stones to your success. You will continue to believe that, and you not accept any limitations and to which may come to your mind. Remember to keep a closed door and to throw away the key. Remember, every defeat and disappointment and every adversity carries with it a seed of absolute greater benefit. As he read here, as I read here, consider that maybe this current despair was getting in the way of any progress, and Hill's message struck a chord. Looking upon from it, a woman reflected in the words that brought him back into the check, bring you back into the check, reminding him that this is a moment and that this is a part of his own success equation. It was a part of his journey. He forced himself to acknowledge how far he had come from the guy who had already steal Mr. Buckland's nice jacket, and how that jacket and Mr. Buckland's, that's where it all started, a jacket, faith in him, led him on that path in which he is going to continue to go. He realized he needed to continue and to believe in his mission, and he promised himself to operate with a positive mental attitude. Even though things seemed tough, he was on his own stepping stones to success. Find Hill Scrolls. That's deep. Couldn't have been better timed, and laughed when they realized it had just been a few feet away all along. With all that major shift in attitude, Greg left to blooper. This is a movie. To Don and Sharon, and we had a nice dinner. Well, let me take it back. That was chapter 19, Rolodex Wisdom, and the book 3 Feet from Gold through the Napoleon Hill Foundation. I'm Max. Like I said, this is my affirmation video. One cut, one take. Just repeating what I wrote here from the book. I copied it down. This is how to change your thoughts and change your life. So anyways, I appreciate you. I hope you're listening. And until the next video, I'm Max. I'm Max. I'm Max. Change is okay. I'm Max. Talk to you later, okay?